bit of new things happening, and I will inform you them later. Yeah. Can somebody close the door behind you? Yeah. So please rise at this point.
Yeah, it's on. Hi, everyone, please be seated. Good evening. Today is welcome to the Monday Sutta class. Today is class number 53. So today Bhante is going to teach us on Sutta number 6, which is the one you can see on the screen.
Perhaps I have to introduce you, I think. Introduce you and then you start. Some of you might wonder why she is here, because there was no coordinator for the last 52 days, and I informed the management that I cannot handle a lot of things, Facebook, many things, so please find someone to manage, maybe coordinate this discussion, because I have coordinators for all other sutta discussions in other centers. And then we tried, and you may have seen in our WhatsApp group, and she willingly accepted. So she's going to MC, at the same time be the liaison between the Vihara and you and me and you as well. So if there's anything about the sutta discussion, maybe materials to catch up with the previous classes, like we know today there are 7 new participants, and she will be the focal point. Hopefully you don't bug her, but she will help you, and from today she will take care of the MC and all that coordination. And today we left certain space because at the end of the discussion she's gonna help you to bow 3 times. First bow, second bow, third bow. That's why you see that there are spaces. Otherwise we get together as a class, and like in a school, university, we go back, just to pay some respect for the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Okay, please, over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
Her name is Sister. I forgot.
Eng? I am Sister Eng Yan.
Okay, Eng Yan, yes. Okay. Good.
Where okay, so before Bhante start the class, let me just briefly introduce Bhante Chandima for those, especially those who are first time here. So Bhante Chandima is an associate editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies at the Buddhist Research Institute of MCU University in Thailand. He was formerly a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, Canada. His most recent article, The Function and Contemporary Role of Sikha Pachakana, Abandoning the Training Rules, in the Pali Canon, was published in the Journal of Buddhist Ethics under the Pennsylvania State University Press, USA. His works can be accessed at patisota.blogspot.com. So Patisota blog was ranked 58 globally in the 100 best Buddhist blogs and websites for 2024 by Feedspot. Okay, so with this, we shall pass the class to Bhante. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Eng, for the introduction. Yeah. All right, so we have spaces in the front if you want to sit down. Yeah. So the way how we are doing the sutta discussion, I think this is not new to most of you, is that lighting the candle, and then now MC is going to introduce, and then we are going to pay homage to the Buddha 3 times, and then we're gonna get started. Today we are going to start off a new sutta. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be the 6th sutta we'll be studying. This is going to be the 6th one. Okay, so let's get started by paying homage to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. All right. Let me begin by asking our newcomers about your background. Have you ever studied sutta before? What kind of suttas have you studied? Basic ones? Yeah. How about you? You are pretty new to the subject. And how about here, these two? Okay, I hope that you will not be disappointed by the end. Actually, we are trying to study as simple as we can because it's already a mess. I mean, we don't want to complicate more and more because I always mention something in this sutta study since the beginning that we are studying the suttas that are important to lay people in the first place, not the suttas that are about monks, monastics, right? So that's the main thing. Now, in this sutta, although the Buddha talks to the monks, but it's pretty much about your lay life. That's why we picked up this sutta. Why is it important to study some suttas? This is a good question. Why? Because you learn bits and pieces, like things that have been scattered from here, there, internet, that person, this person. So perhaps you may not have a certain clear understanding when it comes to basic Dhamma teachings. So we are trying to bridge that gap between the ignorance and then probably the misunderstanding of the early readings of the suttas. So that is very important in that case. Then offering dana and then Vesak, Katina, some other events like new moon, full moon, maybe the entry point of many people's Buddhist journey. So we are trying to help out in our own way as much as possible to share a kind of a Dhamma journey based on the early Buddhist suttas. It's not Mahayana, it's not Vajrayana, it's not Tantrayana, it's not contemporary Western schools of Buddhism, it's early Buddhism, Pali. Pali, it doesn't mean commentaries. Basically come from early suttas, where the Theravada started, and then Mahayana was started, and Vajrayana was started. Now there are people who study from Vajrayana in the first place, and Mahayana from the first place. Yes, they may have started off the journey, but when it comes to the understanding, they all have base their sources from the early Buddhism. So if you know early Buddhism, then you will understand what is Theravada, what is Mahayana, what is Vajrayana, and what is the contemporary context of Buddhist teachings by different speakers, other XYZ things. So it's very good. So you understand things from an original point of view. So I think it really helps you to lay the groundwork and the framework of your Dhamma journey by learning these very important suttas that are very good for your lay life. And today's sutta is Dhajagga Sutta. You can see Dhajagga Sutta. Sangyutta Nikaya. SN means one of the Nikayas. Now normally in the Pali canon we understand that there are 3 books, Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. So you are advised to learn the suttas, the important suttas, basically original suttas. So there are 5 books under the suttas: long suttas, middle length suttas, Then connected discourses, like suttas given for different people, kings, bankers, wandering monks, and so on and so forth, yakkas and all these monks. And then suttas that were given under certain numbers, numerical, Anguttara Nikaya, Diga, Majjhima, Samyutta, Anguttara. So Kuddaka Nikaya has more or less early teachings as well as the new teachings. So we have to carefully look at this Kuddaka Nikaya. Sometimes Kuddaka Nikaya, some books are in conflict with the early suttas. Let me tell you one good example. In the Kuddaka Nikaya, one of the books in the sutta, it is said that Buddha is omniscient. Buddha knows everything. Omniscient. Pali word is sabbanyu. Sabbanyu. So maybe I can write it. Okay, now in the Kuddaka Nikaya, there is a book. Okay, now I have to explain again. Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma. These are the three books. What we understand is suttas were the first type of teachings. Vinaya only appears after 20 years of Buddha's time. That means Buddha was 55 years old. There were no Vinaya rules. There are no rules. There was no any Vinaya until he became from 35 to 55. The only Vinaya was Sabba Papa Sakaranang, Kusalassa Upasampada, Sachitta Pariyodapanang, Etang Buddhana Sasana. That means not to do any unwholesome act, to do all the good things, to purify our thoughts. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. So there was no reason, no condition for Vinaya rules to come, take it. But as Buddha was becoming 55 years old, he saw a lot of intellectual monks. They are not enlightened, but intellectuals. And he saw that there were many monks who have been very senior. So they came up with certain ego that I know more Dhamma than other monks, and I have a lot of disciples. So then there were conditions arose that Buddha has to lay down certain Vinaya disciplinary actions. Otherwise, Vinaya was not important in the first 20 years. But anyways, let's leave it out because that's not important to you at this point. And Abhidhamma, this is definitely a teaching which came after the third council. Okay, so you are learning suttas. There are 5 books. We call them in English long suttas. Then middle length, connected discourses, suttas, and numerical one, and then miscellaneous suttas. So this 5th book is in a little bit doubt because some seem to be representing the early suttas. And others seem to be in conflict with these early suttas. Let me tell you one thing. This is one very good example. There is a book coming in the Kuddaka Nikaya called Patisota Magga. This book. Now in the early books, in the early suttas, when other people asked the Buddha, Bhante, please declare that you are a Sabban, you know everything. Because other teachers, other 6 teachers, they always say they know everything. Then they ask from the Buddha, other disciples, why are you not claiming that you are an omniscient teacher? You know everything. Buddha said, no, I don't want to declare as such. I am not Sabbanyu. Okay? In these 4 books, Diga, Majjhima, Samyutta, he does not claim originally. But in this book, which is one of the 15 books, it is said that he is omniscient. It was supposed to be prepared by senior Sangha members. He is not omniscient in only one way, he is omniscient in many other ways. So there are things that we have to understand. So Buddha rejects him being Sabbanyu before in these early suttas, but later on, because senior Sangha members thought that they would like to defend some of the teachings of the Buddha, they made it a little bit tight by making it so defensive. So that's why we have to understand the context of different suttas. So we are studying mostly from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th books of the Sutta Pitaka, middle length, connected discourses, numerical discourses. And then this sutta, Dhajagga Sutta, appears in the Samyutta Nikaya's 11.3. Did the Buddha know these Nikayas, Diga Nikaya, Majjhima, Samyutta? He had no idea. These were made by, categorized by the monks after that, because they thought it is best to categorize, to preserve the teachings. Were the suttas in books at that time? No, they were in oral tradition. So, when it was put into books, when was the time that teachings were written in books? That was a time in Sri Lanka. It happened in Sri Lanka during the King Vattagamini Abheya. He is the one who sponsored some Sangha members to write them on palm leaves actually. But now, as of now, Sri Lanka doesn't have any of those manuscripts. Although the history, the Great Chronicle says that it happened, the oldest manuscript, the palm, ola leaf manuscript that they have is dating to 13th century. 12th to 13th century. They have 2 points why the manuscripts are not available in Sri Lanka. One is the Portuguese attack, the first colonizers who attacked Sri Lanka, they set fire to these manuscripts, they say. The second thing is the expiry of ola leaf manuscript is happening normally within certain centuries. So that's why they don't have any manuscript as such. So all the Siamese manuscript, Myanmar, Burmese manuscript, they were based on the Sri Lankan manuscript. But nowadays, if you go to Sri Lanka, if you go to a temple, very old temple, if you ask a senior monk if they would like to show you some of the these manuscripts, most of the manuscripts are not Sri Lankan ones. They are Burmese, Thai manuscript. Because there was a time in the 17th century, Buddhism was lost in Sri Lanka. There were no monks at that time. There were monks who had a hybrid life. They had a house family, and then they were part-time working in the temple. In the Kandyan era, we call them Ganinanse, which means by the 17th century, by the time the British were trying to aim at Sri Lanka as a maritime good place, these so-called monks were the ones who were staying in Sri Lanka. But the Sri Lankan Theravada school says, even though we lost Buddhism by that time for almost 100 years, our true Buddhism went to Thailand before that time, to Sukhothai kingdom. And then after that, from Sukhothai kingdom through Ayutthaya, Bhante Sangaraja Saranankara, he brought it back to Sri Lanka. Anyways, it's a very long story. But we have to look at how these things came into existence. We should have a certain understanding. Anyways, nowadays we don't have this original Sri Lankan manuscript, which is not a good thing. Sometimes some of the manuscripts were translated into Sanskrit, and then certain Chinese monks they brought to China, and then what happened? The version is available in Chinese, but the counterpart to that original version of Sanskrit text is not available. So we have to create a new Sanskrit version through the Chinese agamas. So scholars are facing a lot of problems, how to make it actually. So that's why when we study Buddhism, we have to think that don't take everything as it is. We have to question a little bit, why is this possible? Because it has gone to different ends: colonization, losses, textual errors, transmission errors. So we have to be very careful in understanding, is this something really sensible? Okay, Dhajagga Sutta comes in the Samyutta Nikaya. Dhajagga, what does Dhajagga mean? Dhaja means Dhaja. Dhaja means flag. Flag. Yeah, flag. It's a different kind of flag. Dhaja means flag. Agga means, okay, Dhaja. Dhaja means flag. Then Agga means top. Probably here, this part. Dhajagga. Whose flag? Whose flag is the sutta talking about? Flag of different devas. Every prominent deva has a flag. It's like certain provinces, states, they have their own flag. So, Dhajagga Sutta. You can see here the abstract. The Dhajagga Sutta offers guidance on overcoming fear and anxiety. Very interesting. I think we, on daily basis, more or less, we go through fear, anxiety, these recurring emotions. Right? The sutta tells how Sakka used his flag to inspire courage in his other deva troops, but reminds us that even deities like Sakka, Pajapati, Varuna, and Isana experience fear by themselves due to their defilement. So fear arises in us because we still haven't been able to enlighten. But there may be someone who has less fear. Now, if I ask a simple question, how to minimize our daily fears about life? If we really want to minimize our daily fears in your mundane life, you should be able to understand life more objectively, right? Because we usually take life from a subjective point of understanding. It is okay to a certain extent, but as time goes, this objectivity really troubles us because we are not ready to understand. We are not ready to embrace that objectivity. So lots of emotions are going to arise. We call them sanya. They are going to arise. One is fear, then anxiety, butterflies. What else? What else people are going through? Butterflies, goosebumps. Right? So people are actually going through different emotions. And then those emotions are not even mental. At a certain point, these emotions are reflecting through our body, our bodily function. They affect us over the time. Now the story, we will learn the story a little later. In contrast, the Buddha who has overcome raga, dosa, moha, lust, hatred, delusion, advises turning to the triple gem, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, as the true source of comfort and protection against fear, anxiety, and all these emotions. I think that means this sutta clearly teaches us that if we have a very good understanding about the Buddha, who is the Dhamma, what is the Dhamma, who are the Sangha members, that can really help us overcome our fears, anxiety, horripilation, and all the distress. But I know how people do it. When they are very scared, they start saying, Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddha. Then whoever the person that is in front of us should go away. But you are creating a certain stronghold, but it doesn't really work because you don't know what is Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddha. Right? You don't know. I think that day we were discussing how to understand the yakkas, right? Some of you were asking about how to protect you from yakkas, the demons, evil people. And I said that it is good to understand what you are chanting. And some were asking, should I chant in my own language? I said, yakkas understand Pali better than your language. And then that is one thing. And the second thing is that if you don't know what you are chanting, but yakka understand you don't know what you are chanting, it's going to be a really win-win situation. I mean, you don't know what you are chanting. You only know the certain labeling of the sutta. And yakkas cannot feel your chanting because it's not in Pali, right? Because Pali was the language that was uttered by the Buddha. So those words are more touching than other languages, right? I'm telling you that if you cannot learn Pali, it's a different thing. But they understand better than our different languages. Because Pali words have a lot of deep meanings about the life in terms of Dhamma. All right, let's. So the idea of the whole sutta is that this sutta clearly teaches us how to overcome negative emotions such as anxiety, fear, horripilation, all the negative emotions that we are surrounded on a daily basis, monthly basis, life basis. So it's a very important, very timely sutta to study because it benefits all of us abundantly. And the text, I think I already shared with you. From today, Sister Eng can help. If anybody doesn't have it, please approach her. And the other thing I wanted to mention is we have a WhatsApp group. So if you are a part of WhatsApp group, probably Saturday or Sunday, Sister Eng will make a poll who is coming, just to have an idea about logistics. So please mention your attendance, that's better. And then at the same time, through that WhatsApp group, you will see the text and all that. And if any one of you is not a part of that WhatsApp group, there is the QR code on your way back. Please scan the QR code. So you can be a part of that WhatsApp group. And she will also help if you are senior, if you don't know how to do it actually. Okay, so today is the day that we are introducing the sutta. We're gonna look at it, not going deep on the sutta. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to teach you, right, the first 5 lines, which has the story of what happened. Evaṁ me sutaṁ ekaṁ samayaṁ bhagavā sāvattiyaṁ viharati jetavane anātha pindikassa ārāme. This is the story. The Buddha didn't talk about it. It's a story. Another monk is going to narrate the story. Who is normally narrating the stories? This part of the sutta? Bhante Ananda. Now you see that there's a difference when you go to a Theravada temple. You see who are the chief disciples between the Buddha statue. Arahan Sariputta and Arahan Moggallana. But if you go to a Mahayana temple, they are not the ones who are on the both sides of the Buddha statue. Who are they? Bhante Ananda and Arahan Mahakāśyapa. Arahan Mahakashyapa. Why? There is a certain idea behind that. It shows about Bhante Anand, the Venerable Anand, that he has learned a lot of Dhamma. He memorized almost everything, but he was not able to attain Nibbana before the Buddha passing away. In the same way, the example for us is just by learning Dhamma itself doesn't make any sense. This is the first thing that these Mahayana temples show us. The second thing is that looking at Arahan Mahakashyapa, how much he sacrificed to understand his own life and how he became the person who finally protected, because all these chief disciples had passed away by the time Buddha was going to pass away. Only Arahan Mahakashyapa stood up and then helped. So anyways, later on, Venerable Ananda became an Arahant, and he's the one who memorized and these stories. But after the first council, he did not become a part of this cohort. What he did was that he asked other monks to share the preservation. So the monks who took up this particular book, what he called Connected Discourses, this one, Sangyutta Nikaya, were Arahan Mahakashyapa's disciples. See, only Digha Nikaya, the long suttas, were preserved by Arahan Ananda's disciples, and then middle length Majjhima Nikaya's suttas were preserved by Arahan Sariputta's disciples, and then Sangyutta Nikaya, Connected Discourses, which is where Dhajagga Sutta is a part of, were preserved by Arahan Mahakashyapa's disciples, and numerical Anguttara Nikaya's preservation was done by Arahan Anuruddha's disciples. And Kuddaka Nikaya was given to everybody. For the rest of everybody was supposed to preserve. That's why different ideas crept in. Like these ideas crept in because of that everybody's preservation. Anyways. Okay. Evang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava savatyang viharati jetavane anatha pindikassa arame. Okay. Here there is something we have to learn. Although this is the background story, but we are going to learn something out of it. Okay. Evang me sutang. Evam means this way. Me by me. Sutang, heard. Now that means not that he wrote down, the way how he understood. Right? Ekang samayang bhagava. Ekang samayang. Ekam means one. Samayang. Samayang. Samayam means time. But I think I already shared with you, this Pali word has 9 meanings. Just to tell you. So how do we know that Samayang is this particular meaning? Then we have to read Dhamma from Pali itself at a time that you are capable of. Normally when we read Pali, when we want to understand, let's say we want to understand this particular area of the sutta, then we have to read the preceding paragraph and also the following paragraph. Then we can understand what kind of contextual meaning is going around here. Sometimes we cannot understand the proper meaning even by going to the preceding and the following. We have to go to further up, further down. Pali itself. Then only we understand, this is what this particular thing is about. So that's why it's other teachings given in your own language, no? They were given Pali. So that's why we are learning those things. So Samayang here means time. Bhagava, this is an epithet to the Buddha. Normally, the Pali word Buddha is not mentioned in many suttas. The Pali word that is used for the Buddha is Bhagava. Bhagava means the one who uprooted Lobha, Dosa, Moha. Right? Uprooted, not overcome. Savatyam means Savatti. Savatyam means a city. Yeah? Savatti is a city. Jetavane, Jetas grow. Jetavana means this land that Anathapindika banker bought from this Jeta prince. Then Anathapindikassa. Anathapindikassa means the name of the banker, Anathapindika. Actually, his real name is not Anathapindika, Sudatta. His real name is Sudatta. Sudatta. Anathapindika means his Dhamma name. His Dhamma name, Anathapindikassa. Arami means the place. Tatrako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi Bhikkhavoti. Tatra, there, Bhagava, again the Buddha. Amantesi, address, Bhikkhu, monks, Bhikkhavoti. Why did the Buddha always address monks? Because he is with monks all the time, right? At that time. Badanteti. Badanta means master. Yes, master or Lord. Te bhikkhu, those monks, Bhagavato, Pachasosum Bhagavato, responded to the Buddha. Bhagava, the Buddha, the Etadabocha, said. Etang means said this. Etang avocha, Etadabocha. Now, here comes in the story now. Bhuta pubbang bhikkhave Deva Asura Sangamo. Maybe you can recite with me. Try to read better. Bhuta pubbang bhikkhave Deva Asura Sangamo Samupabbulhu ahosi. Atako bhikkhave Sakko Devanamindu Deve Tavatinse Amantese Sache Marisa Devanang Sangama Gatanang Uppajjeya Bhayangva Chambitattangva Lomahansuva Mameva Tasme Samaye Dhajaggang Ullu Keyat Mamang Hivo Dhajaggang Ullu Keyatang Yang Bhavisati Bhayangva Chambitattangva Lomahansuva Supahis. Now you might think, what is this? Huh? It's a very big Pali statement, paragraph. We will learn now. Now Buddha is narrating a story to the monks. He is narrating this story to tell the monks, if you encounter any fear, any distress, any anxiety, any stress into this world, any depression, there is a way how you can immediately and long-term overcome those emotions. It's very important. So he is using a certain true story. Bhuta pubbang. Bhuta means Bhuta pubbang. Bhuta means Pali Bhuta. Huh? Beings. That is one meaning. Bhuta means the past tense of be. There was a certain incident happened. Bhuta, Puppa. In the past, there was a certain incident happened. Bhikkave, Deva Asura Sangamo Samupabbulu Ahosi. Two groups were trying to fight. There were two groups who were trying to fight. Who are the groups? Deva and Asura. Deva and Asura. Have you heard about these two groups very well? I think Deva you understand. Always talk about it. But Asura? Huh? Probably you may have learned about it. Huh? So these two groups, Deva and Asura. Asura. So Deva has another name called Sura. So that's why the other group is Asura. Sura, Asura. Huh? Deva's another name is Sura. Not Surau. I think Surau is something different here. Sura. Maybe it came from this one. I don't know. Probably. The language has so many, some of the equivalent things. Like we don't know. So Sura means Deva. And these two groups were in fight. Why they were in fight? You know, the story of the Sakka, it is said that the present Sakka, the Deva Indra, he along with another 32 people did a lot of welfare projects as lay people. And then what happened? He was able to be reborn in the Tavatinsa heaven with the other 32 Devas. Sorry, the lay people. Then the number was 33. Number is 33. In Sri Lanka, if you go to Sri Lanka, if you ask from a normal person, how many Devas are there in the Tavatinsa? They are going to say 33 Koti Deva. Because they have multiplied the number, you know, with Koti. Koti is, I think, more than 10 billion, I think, 10 trillion. But 33 is the number. Originally, number is 33. What happened when the Sakka was reborn in that Tavatinsa? Asuras were already there in the Tavatinsa. Asuras were there before. But then Asuras were having a very alcoholic life. They were drinking something called Gandapana. It's a certain alcohol drink. Now don't think that even if the Asuras can drink alcohol in the Tavatinsa, why don't we? Don't come to that point. This is a different kind of alcohol, Gandapana. But Sakka didn't like these drinking people. He said, you can't stay here. I'm going to kick you out. You have to stop drinking here. They said, no, we have to enjoy, chill out. And then Sakka chased them out. It says the Sumeru mountain chased them out to the foot of the Sumeru. What is this Sumeru? Sumeru is the cosmological mountain in the Buddhist cosmology. They say part of the Sumeru mountain is covered with the ocean. It's like an iceberg. So it is a certain, what do you call, ideology where the Buddhist cosmology talks about hells might be down there, heavens might be up, Brahma worlds might be up. But anyways, let's say these 6 heavens were there. Tavatinsa is the third one. They were chased out to the foot of the Sumeru mountain, which is located at the foot of the ocean. Asuras were really unhappy about this thing. So they said, we're going to take revenge. We don't want to back up because we want to actually fight with the Devas. They can't do this. We were really staying in the Tavatinsa very well before this guy come with his friends. So they declared war, Asuras. So time to time, Asuras were trying to fight. Most of the time, Asuras are almost going to win. Yeah, they are very powerful beings. Just the fact that they were chased out from the Tavatinsa, but they are very powerful beings. So then what happened? Now the Buddha is telling the story. Yes, there was a time that these Deva and Asura were fighting each other. You can see here. Atako bhikkave sakko devanamindu. Then at a certain point of these battles between Deva and Asura, the king of the Devas, Sakka, told other fellow Devas this thing in the Tavatinsa. Marisa, dear friends, his fellow Devas, sache devanang sangama gatanang uppajjeya. When you go to the battlefield, when you go to the war with the Asuras, if you happen to come up with bayang, You can see Bayang over here, Uppajjaya, Bayang. Bayang means fear. And Chambi Tattang means terror, fear, terror. And Loma Hanso means a horripilation, what you call something like a butterfly, goosebumps. There are moments that people go through certain emotions, right? If you happen to encounter a fear or a terror or a butterfly goosebumps, then I advise you to do something as a backup plan. Before go to the war, I'm going to tell you. At that point, you should immediately look up to the edge of my flag. That means these Devas are fighting with the Asuras by being in their vehicles. So try to find me, because my flag is somewhere. Look up to the edge of the top of my flag. So Sakka maintained his own flag. Then he says, when you see the top of my flag, when you are struggling with stress, anxiety, and all these negative emotions, your such emotions, mamang hibo dajaggang ulloketang yam bhavissati, bayangwa chambit, same thing. So pahisati, you will be able to overcome those negative emotions. Do we as humans do this kind of things in our life? There are different people doing different things when they're scared. They look up to the rosary, they look up to the string, blessed string, look up to the Buddha statue. What are the things they are doing when they are really scared? Sorry? Chanting, I don't think they have more time to think about it. You're scared. But people, yeah. But the problem is that kind of chanting people are doing with stress and terror, horripilation. Is somebody looking at me, Is somebody is going to attack me? But anyways, people do chanting and some other. What are the other objects people are trying to see when they are scared, stress? Talismans, necklaces. We don't want to mention the names of certain religious symbols, but just overall. And what else? And I know one incident that happened in Canada. There was a group of monks who went to a house somewhere in Alberta, and then they started chanting, but the evil beings, they did not leave the house. And then what happened, for whatever the reason, maybe chanting didn't work. Not that chanting didn't work, maybe there were other conditions involved at that point. Because chanting works in a way how the person chants. Person matters. And even a drug-addicted man can go and chant the chanting book. It should work. It's not. This person has to be a moral person. And the person has to chant out of compassion. Then only, and then the person should understand what he is chanting. So the morality status and understanding the victim group very well, and then level up the compassion, and then understanding what he or she is chanting towards the other person. Probably something was missing in that chanting, so it didn't work. And then what happened? Somebody happened to give him or her a certain Christian cross, the Holy Cross, asking him to put under the pillow. Under the pillow. In 2-3 days, things got stopped. Then we understood, okay, it's not a Buddhist ghost. This must have been definitely a Christian ghost, an evil being, and very scared of the Holy Cross. He left. Because whatever we've been actually trained during our lifetime is what is happening after. So the person who became an evil being was really trained to be scared of the Holy Cross. It's the God, cannot do anything. It came up. So sometimes there are some stories like that. So there are practices where people get to, now don't think that chanting doesn't work. In that particular occasion, it didn't work. Probably there was a certain thing happened, maybe from the chanting side, and then it didn't really work. So there are certain, every situation is a very new situation. We cannot paint with the same brush. So we have to understand. So what we understand is, God Sakka asks his fellow Devas, if you encounter any negative emotion, please look up to the top of my flag. And then your fear, your everything will go away. And then what happened? I think probably we can, because we have time today, a little bit more, we can go to the next thing. Then Sakka said to the fellow Devas, in case by looking up to the top of my flag, your fears are not to go away, they are not to pass away, go away, then I tell you another help. Then look up to the top of the flag of another Deva called Pajapati. What does che mean in Pali? Che? Che. You can see che. Che. Che means if. If. Pali word che means if. No che now. If not. If not by looking at that my flag, top of my flag, then what you have to do is you can look up the top of the banner of flag of another Deva called Pajapati. That means Pajapati must have been a more powerful Deva, because by looking at the top of Sakka, if Devas still continue to have the fear and all these problems, by looking up to the top of the flag of Pajapati, this can work. And Sakka said, in case, even by looking up to the top of the flag of Pajapati Deva, your fear is still surviving, it's not going away, then you can think about the flag of look at. That means all these Devas are in the battlefield. Very interesting. Now, Sakka, Pajapati, then Varuna, Isana, they all are in the battlefield against the Asuras. Then you can look up to the top of, what do you call? Pajapati, and then Varuna Deva. I think that is the next one, the seventh one. So you can look up 7-1. Noche Pajapatisya Devarajasya Dhajagga. Ata Varunasya Devaraja. You can look up to the top of the Varuna's flag at that point. So Pajapati, so if we look at a certain powerful, what do you call, source, how other Devas can be blessed is Sakka first. Sakka probably at the bottom, and then Pajapati, if by looking at his flag, if it is still continuing, then Varuna, that is number 7. Then if Varuna's help is not coming to you, then Isana Deva. So Pajapati, Sakka, Pajapati, Varuna, and then finally you can see the 9th paragraph, Isana Deva. There are 4 Devas that the Sakka is asking to look up. Okay, so I think we can learn about these Devas gradually, because there are other lessons going on. What we are going to understand here is something interesting. That means the god Sakka understood that he might not be the only help for other Devas. Sometimes Devas have to help seek other Devas too. That means only by respecting one god might not be helpful. Huh? That's a good idea, right? So we have to have a couple of Devas to respect. If you think that your house deva is not helping you, then you must have respected another deva as a backup, you know. I mean that backup must be there. Yeah, always there should be a backup, you know. I mean, if you cannot get something from that store, you must have another store to go and collect it, right? Always this has to be like that. I think we have to learn a little bit about this Sura, Asura actually, and Deva as well. What do we learn about Devas in the mainstream suttas? What are the things we can learn? What is the difference between the Buddhist Deva and other Devas we know culturally and other religious traditions? And you know, there is a different group a long time ago that they've been actually working. Atheist groups. What is the main point of atheist? They say that they don't believe the existence of Devas. This, their belief is they are not believing in any God. Not believing in any God, they don't believe the existence, presence of the gods. That means Buddhists cannot be atheists because we believe, now even in this sutta, there are Devas coming up and down. So we cannot become atheists. But we have a difference. I think they are looking at other religions and then coming to that point. We have a difference in terms of the understanding of Deva. We believe that Devas cannot control us. But other religious traditions, they believe they control people, they punish people. They grant people, they grant the rewards, and they punish people. Buddhism does not believe that. Other cultures may believe as such, but Buddhism accepts the presence of the Devas, but they are not kind of beings who control the humans. That's the biggest difference between the Deva concept and the concept between Buddhism and other religious traditions. What kind of Devas are there in Buddhism? Are Devas always somewhere hidden? Or there are different Devas who are scattered everywhere in Buddhism? We normally understand there are house Devas. Every house is supposed to have a Deva. How does the occupancy of Devas work out in terms of the house? Every house is being occupied by a Deva. But the kind of the Deva who is going to occupy, who is already maybe occupied, depends on the nature of the household. Let's say if the household is a place where people are always struggling, arguing, not clean enough. Devas don't like unclean places. That's the main difference between humans and Devas. They really like purity, clean places. And then the nature of the relationship in the household. So because of the purity and then the cleanliness of the house, different Devas take in the house. And in many suttas we understand these house gods, house Devas. One incident was Anathapindika's, this person's house. You know, Anathapindika once lost a lot of money, a lot of wealth. At that point, he went to the temple and told the Buddha, Bhante, I cannot serve you in those sumptuous meals, so I may have to serve you with some coarse, minimum things, because I don't have lots of money to offer dana. The Buddha said, it's okay, no problem, it doesn't matter. So do whatever you can. If you cannot do, just stop for a while and then until you get back to normal. But the Deva in the house of the Anathapindika was not a good Deva. There are two types of Deva. We call them Sammaditthi Deva, Micchaditti Deva. Sammaditthi, Micchaditti. So this Deva, that don't know why it happened, for whatever the reason, Anathapindika's house, especially the main door of the house, of the palace, there was a Deva. He really was a Micchadittika Deva, misbeliever actually. So he doesn't like monks coming in the house and going out. Because every time they are coming, he has to descend. So he just wants to stay there. So one night, he entered the banker's chamber, and then he showed himself, and he was a little, taken aback. Who are you? He said, I'm not somebody that came from outside. I am the house deva at the front door. Right? Nowadays, these front door deva and back door devas became CCTV footage. I mean, right? Every probably, what do you call them? There's a name for that. Contacts, right? The contacts, security systems. And then he asked, why you appeared here? I think now you understood the problem. You've been doing a lot of dana, now you're super broke. Stop giving dana, so you get back to normal after some time. Then the bankers chase him out. I don't have to agree with you. I do my own way, this dana. But it means that this deva, the Anathapindika's house, the front door, was a misbeliever. It's not a good deva. That means there are different devas. I would say Sammadittika deva, Michchadittika deva. So we have to understand that. And there are devas for trees. We call them tree spirits, house devas. Forest devas. We find a lot of them actually, especially in the Karaniya Metta Sutta, we find them a lot. What happened in the Karaniya Metta Sutta? In the background story of the Karaniya Metta Sutta, we understand there are some monks went to the forest to meditate. So they occupied certain trees to meditate. It is a sort of trespassing into the trees because all these trees had devas, so devas didn't like them. Because they didn't like the way how they came to the foot of the tree. So they started bothering them by showing different, images. Finally, they were able to chase them out. That means even some devas don't like Metta Sutta. If you don't really respect their occupancy. And then the Buddha said, learn Metta Sutta properly, and then chant it, and then go and occupy this place. Because that means these trees also have different devas. So the concept of deva is such a very enormous concept, but you have to understand, not all devas are good devas, wholesome devas. There are unwholesome devas too, depending on how they were reborn. But devas in the Tavatinsa, some devas in the Chatum Maharajika, and devas in the Tusita, they are good devas actually. They are supporting humans a lot, right? So it's a very large topic. So what you need to understand is that then there was a fight because Asuras were chased out from the Tavatinsa by the Sakka. They started having the war. But what actually happened at the end? What actually happened at the end of this war? Finally, they made peace. Very interesting. They made peace. How they made the peace? The main Sakka's, Vepachitti, main Asuras' daughter was looking for someone for the marriage. Then Sakka found out the main Asura's daughter was his wife in a previous life, in the human world. But she became Asura. So he got into a old age man, and he went to the day that she was looking for a man, Asura man. And finally, now she is supposed to put the garland around the neck of the person. She put it in this old man. And all the other Asuras were very shocked. There are a lot of young people. Why did you put it around this one? Because it was a sansaric relationship. She felt that this is my man. She put it around. At the same time, Sakka became the Sakka, showed the real face, took her to the heaven. And then this was the reason why Asuras and Devas made peace. And then some of the, Asuras became Devas because they happened to be in the Tavatinsa world. So it's a very interesting story. I think I shared this story in my Pali class. This particular lady, who was the daughter of the main Asura, previously was a female crane somewhere near a lake. And then Sakka felt very pity on her. Other 3 wives were reborn with the Sakka in the heaven, but she could not, she was not generous enough for activities. She did not support him when he was doing welfare activities. She had her own attitude. Then what happened finally, other 3 wives, they were able to be reborn with him in the Tavatinsa. Then she was left, she was reborn as an animal, crane, female crane near a lake. So Sakka was looking for where was she born. And then he found out she became a crane somewhere. Then he went to see her, said, you must practice 5 precepts. Because I really want to get you to Tavatinsa. Very interesting, huh? I want to bring you to Tavatinsa, but I cannot do it because you have not done enough good karmas. And then she asked, what should I do? I know you like fish. From today, don't eat live fish. Only eat the dead fish. Okay. Then she said, okay, I will not eat because she's a crane. She has to eat fish. From today, I will try my best not to eat the live fish. Then Sakka became a fish just to see whether she's doing the right thing. Check. Then Sakka, as being impersonating a fish, went near this particular crane, and then showed as if he's dead. The fish is dead. Then she took the fish into her mouth, and then Sakka wagged the tail of the fish, and then she dropped it. And for the second time again, Sakka showed as a fish that I am dead. Again she took the fish. Again, after some time, Sakka wagged as a fish the tail. And again she dropped. And for the third time, Sakka wanted to check. She did the same thing. And then Sakka became the Sakka and told her, I understand you are practicing the precept very well. I'm happy. I think definitely you are going to be reborn as a human. And this will help you to practice more Dhamma and then to be reborn in the Tavatinsa. But she was reborn in the, she was reborn as a human and did a lot of good karmas. And then she was reborn as the daughter of the main Asura. It helped Sakka to bring her to the heaven from that point onwards. Very interesting story. That means even animals can practice precept. That means, don't eat live animals. Just see whether the animal is dead enough. Right? All right. I think we're going to be learning more about this sutta later from other weeks. Now, today I wanted to tell you the story, and you know the story now. And perhaps I will add a couple of things. When you go to the end, go to number 9. Now the Buddha is questioning other monks, see what happened. The fear, terror, and the stress, depression of these devas did not overcome even after looking up the top of the flag of all these devas. Why? Because these devas have not overcome raga, dosa, moha. Now, say for instance, when we are scared, when we are feared, who is the first one that will come to our mind? Someone we feel very safe in our life. Just think about. We don't think about those people who cannot dare about life. We think about someone. We might not think about that person. Automatically, that person will come to my, if he or she was here, definitely I'll be safe. In the same way, because we understand the person we are thinking has less fear, less stress, less tension than us. That's why they are coming to us. So in the same way, Buddha says to other monks, why these devas were not supported? Because all these higher devas, Sakka, Varuna, Pajapati, Varuna, Isana, they all are going through issues with regard to their own greed, hatred, lust, hatred, and delusion. Suppose you are going through fear and all these things. You happen to think about someone who has lots of sensual pleasures, always having a lot of cravings. Would that person help you? He himself has a problem. She herself has a problem. You are thinking someone who has actually less lust, less anger, less what you call ignorance, even than to us. Then at least it can help. The Buddha says, avita ragu, avita dosu, avita moha. That means, if you want to think about someone, when you are struggling with fear and all this, think about someone who has less, or maybe who has uprooted this lust, hatred, delusion. Then only you are safe. But without understanding this way, you are only going to chant, Itipiso Bhagava Arahan Samma Sambuddho Namo Tassa Bhagavato. I don't think that might help you a lot. Because you don't know on what basis you are supposed to think about the particular person. And we go down there. And I will make it concise because we're going to explore them bit more in the coming weeks. And then the Buddha said, I tell you a way to overcome all these negative emotions in your life. How? In case you happen to be scared, you feel very worried about your life, you feel very unstable, lot of negative emotions are coming to you, you don't find purpose in your life, you don't have any ambition, you become that all the problems are coming to me. At that point, you need to boost your self-confidence. And in one of my retreats, there was one who told me that she is scared about something. Yes, the people are scared about different things. No, I am scared about something really interesting. I am scared of being happy. Very interesting, huh? I said, can you give me an example? Because others are watching this. Say, for instance, I'm riding the bus. Let's say I'm going to miss my bus. I'm maybe behind the time. I'm going to miss my bus. At that point, I feel that that my intention to be happy that catching my bus, it's okay because I couldn't catch the bus because I'm not happy. So that person was telling me that there was something holding her back. The problem was that there were bad experiences happened to her in her early life. So these experiences are holding her back. So there are people, even they are scared to be happy. What about other things? What about the evil beings? What about the spirits? What about other negative emotions? So the Buddha says, in case you happen to be scared, fearful, stressed out, depressed, the first thing to think about is the Buddha's 9 great qualities. Not to chant, to reflect upon his 9 great qualities. Why is the Buddha Arahant? Why is the Buddha Samma Sambuddho? Why is the Buddha Vijjacharana Sampanno? Why is the Buddha Sugato? Why is the Buddha Lokavidu? Why is the Buddha Anuttaro Purusadhamma Sarati? Why is the Buddha Satta Devamanusana? Why is the Buddha Buddhu? Why is the Buddha Bhagava? 9 great qualities. We have to keep understanding why is he Arahant. Then only our fear will go down. Not that Arahant Samma Sambuddho Vijja Sampanno. This is not going to work for you because you don't know what is that. The more we understand the Buddha, the more security kicks in, comes in. That understanding only helps you. Now don't tell me learning Pali is a very difficult journey, because if you don't learn, you will have to suffer. Fears will overtake you. And Buddha also saying something interesting. In case, after thinking about my great qualities, 9 great qualities, if you still continue to be feared, scared, stressed out, depressed, then I tell you to think about the 6 great qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipassiko, Opanayiko, Pachattang Veditabbo Vinyuheti. 6 great qualities. Now Buddha even is still suspicious about some other people. There are some other people who even after understanding these 9 plus 6, 15 great qualities, still they continue to be scared. Then I ask you, I advise you to think about my Sangha's 9 great qualities. Supatipanno, Ujupatipanno, Nyaya Patipanno, Samiti Patipanno. Then Ahuneyo, Pahuneyo, Dakkineyo, Anjali Karaniyo, Anuttaram Punyakettang Lokasati. These 9 great qualities. I guarantee you, rest assured, after reflecting upon each Sangha qualities, your fear, your horripilation, your terror, your depression, your whatever the disorders must go down. I guarantee. That means Sangha must be more powerful than all these two. Right? That's why. Then you might think about, why not the Buddha? Actually, Buddha is a part of Sangha. Who separated these two people? Who separated Buddha from the Sangha members? It's a Theravada school. Buddha is someone separate. Sangha is someone. But what does the Buddha say in the suttas? Dakkina Vibhanga Sutta. What is the number of the sutta? We'll check it out. Dakkina Vibhanga Sutta. Dakkina Vibhanga Sutta. Okay, Majjhima Nikaya 142. The analysis of giving. In this sutta, something very interesting happened. Buddha's stepmother, Mahapajapati Gautami, she was already a nun by that time. And she came to the Buddha, she said to the Buddha, Bhante, I am going to pass away, but I want to give you a robe which I handmade. Right? And then the Buddha said, don't offer to me. Let's go and see the sutta. So you will understand it. Think. This should be okay. We go into the parallels. We go into this translation. Probably we're going to see line by line. Okay, line by line is better. Okay. You can see. Then Mahapajapati Gautami approached the Buddha, bringing a new pair of garments, I say robes. She bowed, sat to one side, said to Buddha, Bhante, I have spun and woven this new pair of robes specially for the Buddha. May the Buddha please accept this from me out of compassion. When she said this, the Buddha said to her, give it to the Sangha, Gautami. See this. Sanghe Gautami Dehi. And then, when you give to the Sangha, Sangete dinne ahancheva pujito bhavisamiti sangoti. When you give to the Sangha, both the Sangha and I will be honored. Now what does it mean? Then she asked for the second time, and she asked for the third time. And again Buddha said, and for a third time the Buddha said to her, give it to the Sangha Gautami. Now this is the early Buddhism, where the Buddha and Sangha are together. Buddha and Sangha together represent a spiritual journey. That means Buddha and Sangha, then actually there are two things. Then who separated this? In the Theravada school, they talk about paramita. It's a scholarly point of view. They always say three bodhi, Samma Sambuddha, Pacceka Sambuddha, Buddha and Arahant. Normally, we don't blame anybody, but we just look at it as it is, what has been happening. Becoming a Samma Sambuddha is a very, very tough journey. This is what I think maybe you may have heard from many teachings. And they don't encourage becoming a bodhisattva, right? Have to do 30 paramitas. Pacceka Buddha 20 paramitas, Arahant only 10 paramitas. So just hit for being an Arahant, the bare minimum attainment. I don't normally bring an argument for this. Now you are writing, you are sitting for an exam, and there are letter grades, right? starting, what is the fail mark? The C minus? What is the fail mark? Fail is fail, huh? Huh? C minus, C plus, B minus, B plus, A minus, A plus, maybe let's say. There's a letter grades. Now there is someone who really wants to survive from this paper. So he or she is trying to, because he or she has to live up to the expectation from the parents, and lots of money has been spent, and she has to survive at this point. He has to survive. So expecting a C minus just for the survival, if that is going to be the purpose of the exam, mostly she or he would have ended up way below the C minus. Why? The goal was C minus. So there may be someone who might think, I'm going to get ready for the exam, planning to have a B plus. Because B plus was the highest point of plan, he or she might, will have mostly ended up way below B plus. But there is someone who has no thinking about letter grades. I understood, I learned from the class, I studied, and I also studied the additional books which the teacher, professor told us. And I don't expect any letter grades. I want to do the best in my paper. And he will have mostly ended up probably way before, more than having an A plus. Same theory. If you are planning to become an Arahant, we don't know where you will have ended up. So try to hit the first one. At least you will have ended up becoming a Pacheka Buddha. Right? And these, what you call Bodhisattvas, they are really interesting beings. Bodhisattvas. What is the role of a Bodhisattva? Someone who is practicing and helping other people to attain enlightenment. In the Mahayana, they are talking, you are a Bodhisattva, I am a Bodhisattva. We may be at different levels, but you are a Bodhisattva. Actually, it's true. Right? Who knows, out of this group, somebody might end up with becoming a Pacheka Buddha. If Devadatta is going to be a Pacheka Buddha, Devadatta, the monk who started killing the Buddha through the stone, he was trying to kill the Buddha. Why can't you become the Samma Sambuddha? Just imagine. If Devadatta is like this. If King Ajasatta is going to be a Pacheka Buddha, why wouldn't you become someone better than that? So asking people only to become an Arahant, I think is a very, what do you call? It's not the best way how we should encourage people. That means you may be able to have the bodhicitta, and then to practice your... Now, the question that comes up at the same time is, Bhante, we don't know, next life we will become humans or not. Trust you will become a human. Always believe that you become a human. You practice Dhamma journey, so don't worry about it. But if you are thinking becoming a Samma Sambuddha one day, then at least you will have ended up somewhere nearer than that. But the Theravada school, they said, no, Sangha is here, Buddha is here. Right? And asking to prioritize the Buddha. Buddha himself is a Sangha member. That's why Buddha said in the Dakkhinaimanga Sutta, offer it to the Sangha, then I am also a part of that Sangha. Have you ever heard that when you are offering dana to the Sangha members, that Sangha members normally, I don't know whether you may have heard, are telling you, don't only think that you only offering to 1 monk, 2 monk, 3 monk, 4 monk. Have you ever heard this thing? You have to visualize all the monks who lived during the Buddha's time, Arahants and all these. And all the monks who are living far and wide today, and the monks who will be becoming monks in the future. Visualize them. Not that 4 monks in the Buddhist Mahavihara, or maybe another state, another country you offer. Then only you will get merits insofar as the quality of those only 4 monks. What a pity on you, huh? you should double, quadruple, triple your dana, right? Today I offer to 2 monks. And then your dana will be multiplied, the merit will be multiplied by the quality of only those 2-3 monks. That's why the Buddha said, don't specify the number of monks. Physically, yes, 2 monks, 3 monks, 4 monks. But in the mind, you visualize incalculable number of monks. Right? That is how Buddha is going to be a part of this journey. Right? Not that you go to the shrine hall, you do the Buddha puja. Buddha is, I did for the Buddha. No. Buddha is also at the point of Sangha. All right, so this is why Buddha is saying that when you think about the Sangha members, your fears definitely should go away. That is how the sutta is telling us. Any questions? Any questions today about this topic? If you have a question, please go to the mic and ask your questions. Yes, please, come. Yes. The mic is working? Yeah, can you try to? Maybe you can take this mic if not working. Take this mic.
Okay,
it works. Yeah.
Working now. Bhante, good evening, Bhante. Bhante, I cannot rationalize why Asura not having or keeping the sila, they are drinking alcohol and fighting, still able to reside at heaven, Dewa Dim Sum realm. And second
Why Asuras cannot keep the precepts?
No, they did not keep the precept. They did not keep the morality. They are fighting and drinking alcohol, and yet they are able to reside at the heaven realm, Dewa Dim Sum. I cannot reason out. Maybe
So
one
then
day can help me to enlighten me.
the shortest answer is that even these beings became devas. Sometimes they were part of the deva world. They still continue to fight for their own territories. So it's not something that that we can demonize them, that they are not good beings. So I think your idea is coming from that all these devas must be moral. No. Devas, not all the devas are moral. Our previous sutta, Yakka, most Yakkas are not moral. That's why the Yakka head comes and tells Buddha, Bhante, you teach this Atanatiya Sutta to your monks, they are going to the forest. Definitely our fellow Yakkas come and attack you, attack your disciples. They have to learn this. So the idea that you are presenting this question is, you thought that all devas are supposed to become moral people. No. Most of them in certain places are not moral, but some are moral. Our journey is with the good moral devas.
But they're supposed to be moral, only can be rebirthed there, right?
Here, they are moral here. After that, they are not moral. Yeah.
But Bhante, if they are in the heaven,
That's a business here. Yeah, after that,
Bhante, if
like humans, why you became a human? Because of a good karma. But you can still become a bad person here.
But Bhante,
And then make the next world bad. Same thing.
But Bhante, if they are in a human realm, they are moral, therefore they are reborn in a heaven realm. But in a heaven realm, they become immoral. Then the frequency they have, because they're immoral, they are fighting, then they should drop back, right, to the hell or Asura realm.
They still have good karmas to continue. Until they finish the good karma, they are fighting and they are doing those things. Yeah? And then they will drop.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. That's why these good karmas are working differently. Now you see in the human world, there are very rich people, but doing a lot of unwholesome activities. But more money, even you can't even think about how much money they have. But things are going to work out in the next life. Maybe in a next life. We don't know. So karmas are working out with different people very differently. So we cannot expect, you do a bad karma, you must get it. That's a curse, actually. We should never think like that way. So it is very different how the karmas are working towards different beings. Yeah. So they became Asura Deva as a consequence of good karmas, but when they were reborn there, they start to be jealous about other devas. You have more stuff than me, and when they became a part of Asura cohort, then they know that they have a generational anger. Other Asuras are telling them, Devas attack us. It happens in the human world, in the diasporic countries. Those communities who have gone to the West, the diasporic community, their parents are always saying, we left our mother country because those people in the country, they really, mistreated us. So you guys, children, you should learn and then try to, do something against these people. In the same way, Asuras were misinformed by their predecessors about what the Devas did. So they are getting ready to take revenge. Yeah. So I think it's not good to be a Asura, because you will be a part of that group. Better to be reborn in Tusita heaven, because it's a Bodhisattva place. All right, any other questions?
Bhante, can you explain or briefly tell who is this Pajapati, Varuna,
Pajapati
and Isada, this Deva?
It's another Deva. Actually, I'm going to explain them in other weeks. They are different Devas, Hindu Devas actually. Yeah, powerful Devas, like not like Sakka, but powerful Devas out of the normal Devas. They can help, others in different ways. Yeah. Now, I wanted to mention about Varuna. This Deva called Varuna is a very interesting Deva. It is said in Sanskrit about Varuna Deva. He is the one who punishes the people who are doing the bad things, moral custodian. It is said in further details that you cannot have a secret conversation with somebody without Varuna's notice. It is said Varuna's Trutiya. Varuna will be the third person in the conversation, even though you don't like him. You talk to someone closing the doors, maybe over the phone, Varuna is listening to you. He's spying and stalking you. So, yeah, interesting. Varuna. All right, we'll take one more minute. If not, we're going to wrap this up. You have a question? Yeah.
Bhante, just now you mentioned that we should aspire to be reborn into Sita heaven.
No, we actually, if you are looking for a heaven, feel good about any Deva, Tusita Devas are more wholesome. But our journey is not to become a Deva, our journey is to at least to become a Sotapanna, because we understand Dhamma. Yeah.
So should we aspire to be born in Akanita realm, the pure land?
Then you must have become Anagami person. Only Anagami people can be reborn in the 5 pure lands, where Akanita is the highest.
Because in that pure land, they will eventually get into
attain
the
Nibbana there.
Nibbana.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
There are 5 pure lands in the early Buddhism, not 1 pure land. But the thing is that in the Mahayana pure land, when they chant Amitofo as many times as you can, they feel that there's protection. That's their view. In early Buddhism, you cannot chant and be reborn in the pure land. You must become an Anagami, Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami. Then only you will be able to be reborn if you don't attain Nibbana here. I think rather than expecting these realms, better to overcome your daily Lobha, Dosa, Moha. So then something will happen to you, something good. Don't expect destinations, right? Yeah. But why many people, even Sakka, Sakka has told in many places what is his expectation after the death. He had said he wants to be reborn in the Akanita Brahma world. Why? Akanita is the only Brahma world where everybody is equally young. You don't have to look for, what do you call? Anti-aging, cosmetics, anything, rejuvenation, no need. Because if you reborn today, you are also equally young as other Brahma Devas there. Akanita means forever young. Very good, huh? Forever young. There's no aging. You hit the Nibbana as well. If there's someone who would like to stay young forever and then to attain Nibbana, perfect place. Right? All right, I think now is the time to wrap this up. Today we started off our new sutta, Sutta study class day 53, Dhajagga Sutta. Dhajagga Sutta deals with how to overcome our fear, stress, and depression, which we go through time to time. They can be overcome, the Buddha said about triple gem, 24 great qualities of the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. And we will be studying one by one as time goes on. But today we just learned the background, the framework of this sutta. More to come. So leaving that room for the next Mondays. Now we are going to transfer all the good karmas to the departed ones. May all the departed ones receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idang me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. May Deva, Naga, Mahidika also receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, and prosperity, safety. May they in particular bless us for our own Dhamma journeys. May our Dhamma journeys become seamless, consistent Dhamma journeys, not become stagnated Dhamma journeys. And finally, may Devanaga Mahidika be well at the same time, attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sangpedang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambetang punya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sangpatti siddhya. Akasatta ca bhummanta devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkang tuloka sasanang. Akasatta ca bhummata devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva Chirang rakhang tu desanang. Akasatta ca bhummata devanaga punyantang anumodinva chirang rakhang tumang paranti chirang rakhang tutwang sadati. Next comes the greatest wish we are continuously making. May we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas, noble friends who can support us, deepen our Dhamma journey, maintain our Dhamma journey. May we not be able to be in the company of Papa Mittas, bad friends who can pull us away from our Dhamma journey. May we be always continuously be with the Kalyana Mittas, and may we become Kalyana Mittas to other people as well. Till we attain Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make the wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava Nibbana patya. Finally, we are going to wish, may we be able to use and support all these good karmas to be able to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now Sister Eng will lead the respecting part. 3 bows.
Let us pay respect to Bhante by taking 3 bows. First bow. First bow. Second bow. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Wishing you a pleasant and good night, safe driving back home. See you next Friday. Thank you. And at the same time, I think there is some food. If you haven't taken your dinner, there's some food. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So this is the way. This is the way.